If you want to rattle a snake, you must be prepared to be bitten by it.
Did you really bring your mind to bear? Did you really focus and understand what you were doing? So that when you made the decision, you were convinced, whether wrong or right, you were convinced that you understood the situation.
And we don't want to get to that point where we have left the country to a few guys. This conversation is not for just us, it's for you to go and spread it out there.
Intolerance. We are brewing intolerance.
You will take it upon yourself to be in the know, one, to be involved, two, and if you're not being involved, to question why you're not being involved and find a way to get involved.
Democracy cannot operate unless we are tolerant. You tolerate your friend, your neighbor, to have an opinion different from yours.
Episode 23, I checked.
Oh, 23.
Hey, mileage tumekula.
Yeah.
I'm getting excited, man. There's a lot been going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of course, this is our Kenya.
Look, my tongue can't hold back. How you been, Elsie?
I've been well, but let's not get into that. There are more important things to discuss.
All right.
Yeah, that is what's been happening around the world.
Okay, for sure.
Particularly Kenya.
Yeah. Sawa basi. I mean, we're not gonna spend so much time. I think today is a short episode, yeah?
Because we're just wrapping up.
Yeah, we're just wrapping up.
Yeah.
Do we start with what's been going on in the country and in the world?
Yeah. Of course, should we start with BBI?
I mean, we might choose not to talk about it, but it's still there. It's happening.
Yeah.
So we can't ignore it.
Reggae is still very active. It was stopped by the High Court, but
Yeah.
it's back in the judiciary.
Yeah.
The Court of Appeal. And now we are waiting for the court's verdict on 20th of August because submissions were made earlier this week.
Yes, from Tuesday.
And we saw interesting arguments come up
Yeah.
from both sides, from the appellants and the respondents.
Hiyo ndio jina nilikuwa natafuta before we started the show, trying to look like I studied on what we were about to discuss. Appellants and respondents.
Appellants and respondents. So the appellants being, we had people representing the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, President Uhuru Kenyatta, the BBI task force.
Parliament was also an appellant.
Oh, Parliament was also there.
Parliament was represented. I can't remember the gentleman's name.
Yeah.
Oh.
And even the respondents were many. So there's like a
Quite a few.
76th respondent.
Yes, quite a few respondents.
And we also saw young lawyers stand out, shine. You know, now they're trending.
Yes.
And,
I can't remember
the whole
her
country
English
is
name, but I
praising.
remember Angawa.
Yeah, Esther Angawa.
Yeah.
And I think there's a man by the name Andole, Mr. Andole.
Mr. Andole.
Yeah.
Quite an interesting session to listen in on. I mean, got to see that apparently BBI is not Raila and Uhuru's thing. George Wawero and Junet Mohammed are the initiators of BBI.
Quite interesting.
You asked, I don't know. Who's George Wawero?
I also don't know who George Wawero is, but of course I know Junet. Junet is the Suna East MP.
Yes, Suna East MP,
Yeah.
Junet Mohammed.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just, Otiende Amolo is just playing with us, man, at times. Yani. He just wants to see if we are serious with life.
Why do you think so?
Do you really believe they were the initiators of BBI? Because it's written in the document?
No, of course they were not, because, I mean, we are not dumb. We were there. We saw how BBI came about.
I mean...
BBI is the baby of the handshake.
It's a handshake, baby.
And it's a handshake, baby, and, it was a negotiated... plan, project, yeah?
But he convinced us that ni Junet na George Wawero.
Okay, maybe he convinced you, but he did not convince me.
No
and I
one was
honestly
convinced.
hope that he did not convince
Of course,
the
there's
judges of the
sarcasm
Court
to
of
my
Appeal.
statement, you know. But we generally have to really wait and see the interpretation of the Court of Appeal now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be even a big task for the appellants to even be able to overturn all the how many are they? Are they 7 or 8? The ninis that have been brought up, the issues that have been brought up and needed to be overturned. I can't remember how many they are. That's interesting.
Yeah, and that's it about this week.
Really? There's a lot more.
What else? Of course, we're in a new financial year that began on 1st of July.
Yeah, na
And,
tukaianza na kwenda France kwenda kuongea IMF imetupea pesa.
Ilianza na kwenda France ama ilianza na prices za gas kupanda like no man's business.
You know,
Yeah.
gas prices went up. I saw it at 2700 now.
Okay.
13 kg. Is it 2700? I'm not sure.
But we know for sure.
Credit is going to be...
Oh yeah, I got a notification from my service providers that airtime has gone up, or rather your airtime goes down. So
Yeah.
if you initially used to 20
You'll buy
20
the-
shillings, you could
yeah.
talk for 10 minutes. Now it's gonna reduce.
It's going to reduce.
Yeah, because of excise duty, increase in excise duty.
You know, Macron met Macron. The president is in France for talks. The IMF just gave us some more money.
Oh, wow.
I mean, this week has been a crazy one. I
So
don't
the
even know what
president
you're
is
talking about.
currently, I think, is it Zambia? Kenneth
Oh.
Kaunda.
Oh,
He's
okay.
gone to mourn Kenneth Kaunda.
Mimi
But yeah,
nilimwacha akiwa
earlier this week he was at France. He's
Yeah.
been traveling actually.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The IEBC has officially announced the election day for 2022.
Which is the 9th of August 2022, and which of course is the provision made by the law. The constitution
Yes.
requires that elections are held on the second Tuesday of August after every 5 years. Yeah, and speaking of IBC and elections, something else was trending, I think, a week or 2 weeks ago, that IBC reminded people who would like now to maybe try their luck, or people would like to vie for representative seats next year, that they are required to have at minimum,
A
a
degree.
bachelor's degree
I heard.
from a recognized university.
But MPs have already overturned it.
No,
They
they
at it.
haven't.
They are going
I know
for-
they started complaining and all, but it's law. I wasn't aware that
This
they
amendment
have
will be
already
made.
No, and I hope it does not pass. I mean, seriously, we want our leaders to be educated people, and actually the roles that they play, your MP's role is not to come and build schools. Sure, they do that, and that's nice and all, and we appreciate that. But their main role is to legislate in parliament. So we need them to, at least be knowledgeable enough to make sound policies, sound laws when they sit in parliament. You see, dear listener, you should be embarrassed if your MP is one of those who was pictured by Nation Media Group as the MP who's not spoken in parliament, in the Senate, or
all,
even in the
yeah.
National Assembly in the last 2 years. Don't they have anything to contribute? And that is precisely why we need leaders who've got degrees, and genuine degrees for
That's
that
the
matter.
person you chose in parliament when you see them being highlighted.
And also
like that.
MCAs, we need MCAs to be educated.
You know what I
The
think?
nonsense I've seen in Nairobi County Assembly back when Honorable Beatrice Elachi was the speaker, I
Yeah.
know you could clearly tell
Look.
that those are uneducated people who are fighting in the county assembly.
You know
they
what?
do not know that there are other ways of resolving disputes. There are other ways of, chasing Elachi away from the seat of the speaker, other than by pulling her hair. Are they kids? No,
Relax.
we need
Sipole.
educated leaders.
Sipole.
We need. I want my leaders.
Let me
to
throw
have
in
at
something
least a
in.
bachelor's degree.
Let me throw in something in there. Even if they amend it and say, we're not going to consider a bachelor's degree, all right? We are the ones who choose these people, and we never factored in these things. That's why I'm a bit reluctant to show also my side of disappointment with such when they do so. But we're the ones who put them in there. We never look at their qualifications. We only look at the fake promises they give us. It's high time, even if
And
they
there's a
are
reason why we
successful.
passed this constitution, Timo. And in this constitution, we
And
established a body.
even if
IEBC.
they're successful in amending it,
I hope they don't.
I wish, and my prayer, and even for everyone listening on this episode, to go and spread out the message that they can amend it there in parliament and amend the constitution. But when it comes to the ground, the people will choose them based on their merits. They won't just look at the promises that these people will give. They will check their merits,
Exactly.
and then they will decide, we have a few things that need to be addressed. Could you be the one to handle it, both from county level and the national level. That's what I'm saying. Sikatai, but as it is right now, we've seen them like really shortchanging us every time for their benefit. It's been a constant thing that they do.
Yeah.
And that's why for me, I mean, it looks tough, but I am pretty sure watafind a way a scapegoat to ya make sure wameamend.
No. I really hope that won't work. And also something else with regard to IBC, there's a statute, there's an act of parliament that were with regard to elections that was put on hold for the 2017 elections, but it's now it has to be enforced during the 2022 elections. That must be the Election Campaigns Finances Act. I don't know if that's the exact name, but it's the act that deals with the financing of campaigns. So the IBC also recently made an announcement to people who are eyeing various elective seats that this act will be enforced starting of course next year during the 2022 elections.
Right.
I think one of the provisions is that a person vying for presidential to be the president or for a presidential seat cannot use more than 5 billion in his or her campaign.
5 billion.
And I think it requires transparency. The other thing about the act, it requires transparency and accountability in terms of financing. And I think it's the same. There's such a statute, I think, in the US and
yes, it is.
Yeah,
it's always been there. Even for donations, you have to
declare. You have
audit.
to be very, very transparent.
Yeah. Wait, we put the cap at 5 billion.
I think it's 5 billion. I'm not gone through the act, but I think it's 5 billion.
Wa?
Yeah.
Si tuko na pesa? Kama cap yetu ya campaign ni 5 billion.
It's for presidential, so I'm sure it's less for like an MCA. Maybe it shouldn't be more than 30K.
Come on, Elsie. Hata kama ni presidential, 5 billion ni pesa ya mingi.
You know,
think about it.
These guys can, they usually paint vehicles and even helicopters.
Choppers, buy several Hammers and Prados.
Exactly.
5 billion is the cap.
I'm not sure. Perhaps we can confirm.
We need to confirm that. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, we forgot to mention just before we went our last episode. Ulijua when you were party gani? Mimi, I am a Jubilee party member.
Yeah, nilijipata mimi ni mtu wa ANC and I didn't know like ata kama even if they had to like force me to be a member of a political party, surely ANC
of all the other parties, ANC. Me, I've been a member of Jubilee since 2017.
And now for that reason, Timo, and by the I'm told that the office of the ORPP, the register of political parties, they're denying, they're denying ever registering people erroneously as the Kenyans.
Where did they get our information?
So no, apparently they got the information from the parties, and so they're saying if at all you are registered erroneously and you want to correct that, you want to rectify that, go to the political party and deregister yourself. So now I have to take myself to the ANC headquarters of the ANC offices to deregister myself.
Or write an
or
email.
maybe let me just sit and maybe I can try my luck and vie for MCA, and I'm a member anyway. So
that's why we connect. I mean, ideally the issue with me being registered,
our names and we did not register and they're claiming us to be members of their parties, then I might as well try my luck during 2022.
And that's what I said. Maybe for me, finding out that I've been in Jubilee since 2017, I thought about deregistering myself, but I said, hey, if I'm a member of Jubilee, why not go there and try to cause these changes from the party themselves? I mean, it might not be by the time it gets to election period or when the nomination process is there that I'm really for Jubilee party and maybe I'm for another party. I will move. I will write the letter and I will shift my allegiance to the other party. But as it stands right now, I can be the one effecting the change in Jubilee instead of deregistering myself.
Yeah,
it's a food for thought. I mean, you see how tedious the process is.
What if they deny ever knowing you or being associated with
nimekuwa member tangu 2017 alafu mnaniambia kwa nomination sita vote
for membership?
Muliniandika aje mimi ni member wenyu? Muliniandika aje mimi ni member? Basi munideregister. Juu sijui kitu yoyote hata juu hiyo party. I am still learning. Even now I'm still trying to figure out membership for Jubilee, what it entails. Kwa sababu kuna time kulikuwa na tule tu sim card to 20 bob watu walikuwa nauziwa za kujoin Jubilee. I never bought that thing. Sana shindangwa who did it. Because my information is there. hiyo time ulikuwa unabuy ni kama membership card ya 20 bob.
And it's unfortunate that this issue is not being taken seriously. People have taken it so lightly. The government institutions, the
no one
Ministry
is
of
holding
ICT,
the
no one is holding anybody
ORPP
accountable for this.
yeah.
You guys, do you realize that your private information?
Because ORPP now needs
shared.
to call all political parties and do an audit. And because even
Seriously.
even in court, there was an argument on what is verification of signatures, because if I even come and just put a thumbprint where I don't know where I've put, it's verified. So how do we address this issue of verification? Do I even get, even hata ukifungua kitu ka ATM ama M-Pesa, kuna kuanga na part unaweka hata pin yako ya kuconfirm, ama mtu akijaribu kuenda kwa ATM yako utatumiwa message ya confirmation. How do these people have all my information without me verifying at any point?
Yeah.
Good question to ask anyway, but it's good to learn that I know someone who is in ANC.
mi najitoa. I am non-partisan. I am a neutral Kenyan. Should I vie? I'll vie as an independent candidate.
Good way to go about it. You can choose to go the independent way. You can choose to go and make the change in the political parties. I think we've covered what's been there. What did we leave out?
I don't think we've left out anything. Of course, Safari Rally happened. People went to Vasha. Did you go to Vasha?
No.
Kufika? Pole. Miss kwenda hata mimi.
Sikuwa na mipango za kwenda Vasha.
But Vasha happened.
Even
happened. The political class walienda.
Yeah. So majority of them there.
Yeah.
Sikuwa na helicopter ya kwenda. But we are here. We thank
and
God.
Also,
thank you for Instagram, TV, Insta stories. All of them just giving us highlights. We felt like we were there already. Yeah. And
also the other thing that happened, we lost some notable icons in Kenya.
All right.
The Chris Kirubi passed on.
Oh yes.
The Honorable Jacoyo Midiwo also passed on. And it was sad. I heard that the sister passed and Midiwo also passed immediately.
Oh. Yeah. Wasn't one of those good days. Yeah, but they were icons in their lifetime. There's not much we can say about them.
Yeah.
Let's wrap up chapter... Episode 23 is a wrap-up. Chapter 10 we've done justice, and we can't do much more and ask people a lot more.
Yeah.
We agreed. Let's let the Chief Justice do her job as it is right now. Let's give her time. Let's come back, sit back after a year and figure out what she's done.
So far, so good.
Yeah. We don't need to be like doing 100 days and all that. It's not necessary.
No, but I've been seeing in the US, President Biden has been celebrating. In 100 days, we have achieved this vaccination. More than 50 million of the Americans have been vaccinated. And there's
listeners, we'll audit this lady after a year.
All right.
Let's figure out what she has to do. I said give her time. Not every minute something happens, you want her to comment. That's not how a judge works. They have to sit down, listen to both ends.
She's the head of the judiciary. So again, she cannot always be silent when an injustice is
but
happening.
We don't want her also to jump to reactions every time.
And reports that we've just received state that pursuant to the BBI submissions, of course, yesterday and actually this past week, Dr. Camino's offices have been raided by police officers.
Yeah, Aminwa threw a jibe at the president at some point, and the executive in itself.
Well, I really hope all goes well. I really hope it's sorted.
When the police, the executive is now just playing games with us. Do we see a point? We don't see a point where they will always agree, but we also need to see a point where they coexist and work together.
They cannot always choose violence.
This idea of choosing violence, kila saa,
si poa.
Just because someone has you say anything against the executive, they don't choose you into the they don't elect you, even when the Judicial Service Commission has done its job.
Has recommended you.
Next minute, a veteran in the industry, 86 years old, comes and tells you something that you don't like, you go raid his offices. We are not going to work that way.
That's not much.
Really
mature.
Consider what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you're tricking us back to, look, I'm sorry if you're going to be raided, but the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That's a statement I'm coming to learn slowly and surely. Back again during, was it 2012? We were so excited, you know. We thought that there was change, but we should have listened to that saying. Because now we see an executive always trying to bend the rules, trying to pull someone's leg, trying to just do something contrary to what we expect from the constitution. And we have seen it before.
Yeah.
So we really need to focus on who we choose. We have an year to really think about what we are going, a year and a month or so.
Yeah.
Before
we're in
we
the month
choose.
of July.
Yeah, we're in
so
July.
yeah. We actually have a year.
A year and a month on
Yeah.
top before we choose our next leader.
Yeah.
And we have to think through who we are choosing and why we are choosing them. I mean, we've said it clear right now. Some things we have to choose on merit. Think through who you're choosing as an MP, as an MCA. I mean, even before you focus on the president, it's the presidential position itself. Yeah, I think that's what chapter 10 has been really interesting for me. I mean, just learning a few things also in the process. So I think we did cover and we did it justice in itself. What do you think as we wrap up?
I have no thoughts right now.
Wow. This is not nice.
I mean, I'm really holding back on BBI because we are just waiting for the judgment. Then maybe I can share my thoughts with regard to BBI after the judgment.
No, ideally is
has
what
been
the
delivered.
judiciary has for. Do you feel? I still feel in my heart, Elsie.
Wait. Judiciary, anyway.
Is it still our last line of defense?
I still have a bit of hope. Yes, I'm hopeful.
Yes.
I'm hopeful. I'm really hoping that they've not been influenced.
Wakili ni wetu natuma huko.
That there are no external forces that are going to determine the decision of the court. Because if that is the case, then it's just gonna be, we will have lost everything as Kenyans. I think I'd say that we are done for, because now we'll only have the constitution to rely on.
All right.
And of course the brave Kenyans, the brave young lawyers whom we've seen in this past week, you know, doing their best to fight for Wanjiko, to fight for the common Mananchi, to fight for you and I, Timu. Yeah. So I think let's just be hopeful. I personally am still hopeful, and I'm really, really looking forward to their verdict.
Yeah, good. And if it doesn't go away, we still have one more place to show this guy. I mean, he was in Nyeri talking about I'm talking about the former prime minister. He was in Nyeri talking about reggae will have to go off, giving us the same sentiments that Atwoli was giving us just a few weeks back when we were here, forcing reggae down people's throats, like.
Yeah, I mean, who's actually to tell us that no reggae, no elections? Who is he? Is he IBC?
Yeah, now
no.
the former prime minister was in Nyeri the other day
wonder
talking
the Kileleshwa
about.
people are doing their thing, yeah.
I like how the Kileleshwa people are doing their thing.
Yeah,
man.
they're doing their
I like
thing.
their vibes. I mean, we're waiting for the
We're waiting
second
for the
season.
next one. No, that will be the third.
Oh, that
will be the third,
but
because
it will be
the first
third.
one, the
Because,
second one with fire. So
you
let's
know,
wait for the third.
first one was pulled down, the second one was fire. We're waiting something to do with water. Freeze that thing. I think we should go now and talk about chapter 11, the devolved government.
Devolution.
We've worked so much with the national level, but people need to understand what's going down in their counties.
Yeah.
It's high time we highlight the devolved government, because the first impact you will feel of a country or of a ruling party or of a nation or of a leader or of an executive, you will not feel it at the national level. You'll feel it at the county level.
Yeah.
From the disbursements of funds, from policies that you choose,
Even public participation.
participation.
Yeah,
You know, and majority of us in Nairobi don't even know what Anne Kananu is doing right now, just honoring Atwoli with road signs.
In fact, we forgot to mention that the court held that the appointment of Anne Kananu into office was very valid.
It was valid.
A decision which I really doubt, because as per the constitution, to sit in the place of governor office or deputy governor, elections have to take place.
So this is things that we'll talk about in the next. Of
course, the court also upheld Sonko's impeachment.
We have a lot to cover on the vote. I mean, it's high time we start talking about MCAs.
Yeah.
Their roles, their responsibilities, legal procedures.
Why it's important that they have degrees in 2022.
Yeah. Why is it's important you choose people with degrees?
Yeah.
and why it's important that you choose people who will do the job that you already know that you want them to do for you, and not promises that they have for you. Two different worlds to look at. Understanding how to audit them, how to, at most, even when they are not working, impeach them.
Yeah.
All those things we need to cover. Let's start with the MCA, go all the way to the deputy, to the governor,
then to now presidency.
Yeah, and help people understand what is going on in their counties, so that when IBC comes and decides that they can choose to add a few more constituencies for I don't know whose sake, people understand. It's not, don't only look at the cries of your people being told that you are being neglected. Understand why you're being neglected and why it's being added, and what is this revenue allocation all about. Let's tackle all these things in the few episodes that will follow after this, from 24 going onwards.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward. We have homework, manze. Yeah, we have quite some homework, but luckily now we are online. We finally have our page.
We're on Instagram
and Facebook.
Oh,
Imagine.
Oh yeah.
Tunajaribu. Twitter ndio tujafika bado, tuko njiani.
Tunakam.
Yeah, so Proactive KE on the platforms, just go check us out, follow us. Drop your questions there, we can interact. And then nimemaliza part yangu. Wewe uko na nini ya kusema?
Mimi nimemaliza. It's been amazing, guys. Let's keep watching. And by the way, dear listeners, please engage us. Now that we have our pages,
yes.
Now that we have Instagram and Facebook, look for us.
Tutaruvute.
DM us. Slide kwa DM.
Bana. Well, okay. Sawa basi. Until next time, guys. Cheers.